So Andre, what are the 3 most popular words that truck manufacturers love to use?
Oh, that's really easy. Best in class.
Yep, just like the thumbnail says, and today we have breaking news about the country's most popular truck, the Ford F-150. Ford has just announced the numbers that lead to those numbers that lead to sales.
Yes, every engine, power, torque, payload, and towing. And I think I have all the numbers here, and I'll surprise you, I think, with some of them.
Yeah, in this video, we're going to go over the new 2021 Ford F-150 power, torque, and towing numbers. Is that right? And we're going to talk about the competitors to see how they line up, if it is indeed a best-in-class truck. And then you said you're going to surprise me with, I'm guessing Raptor. Is that right? You're going to surprise me with Raptor?
No, I'll surprise you with many numbers. Many numbers.
All right, I think we've kept them waiting long enough.
Okay.
What are the numbers, Andre?
So, first of all, let's start with the biggest number that kind of boggles my mind.
Okay.
For a half-ton truck, which this is.
It goes to 11.
Yes, well, it goes to 14.
14?
14,000 maximum towing.
Wow.
On an F-150.
It wasn't that long ago that a heavy-duty truck
Yes.
would struggle, I'm dating myself, with 14,000 pounds. And now we're looking at a full-size truck that can do 14,000 pounds.
Yeah, and the heaviest we've ever towed with an F-150 was probably like 11,500 pounds on the iGauntlet, right? World's Toughest Towing Test. The truck did it okay on that test, but of course manufacturers rate this using their latest standards, SAE J2807, and 14,000, I would wager that nobody really will tow that much.
Yeah, because you're getting to the point where the weight you're towing is so much heavier than the truck that's pulling it that it gets a little, sketchy would be a nice way to describe it.
Yes, and then I can wow you with many torque numbers, but here's the payload number before I get there. 3,325.
Whoa, that's a lot of payload.
So they increased it from the previous 2020 generation of the F-150. It went up about 55 pounds. So they were actually leading this class already, and they just bumped it again.
Yeah, that's a lot of hay if you're towing hay.
Yes, that's payload in the truck. And the only way you can do it is with a 5-liter Coyote, 2-door truck.
Yeah, of course, the truck that we'll see once in a lifetime.
Yeah, the truck that's on the screen right now, this 2-door, probably, with a V8.
So how does that compare to, let's say, Chevy, Ram, Toyota, and Nissan?
That's about 1,000 pounds more on payload.
Wow.
1,000 pounds, because in order to do this payload number on the F-150, you have to have special springs. So you have to special order it probably, right? And the towing number, 14,000 pounds of towing, it's about 600 pounds more than the next best truck, which is the Chevy.
So even though the Chevy is currently best in class in terms of torque and horsepower, if you get the 6.2,
yes,
the next generation of F-150 will be best in class in terms of towing and payload.
And power and torque.
Okay.
So are you ready? So they have 6 engines.
Yeah, let's hear it, dude. Let's go through the list.
So I'm going to configure this XLT.
Okay.
So you guys have something to look at. So the base motor, it's the same as before, 3.3 liter V6. It's a regular gasser.
By the way, do you always have to configure a black one, or can you pick?
Oh, that's how they start.
It's so depressing, dude.
Why would they start
there
with
you go. You're welcome, Ford.
So, dude, so 3.3 liter V6 is the base motor. It's naturally aspirated, little V6, 290 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. That's the same as before. No big news here. But the news is that the 6-speed is gone.
So all you fleet guys, you're getting the same engine. That's a very, very fleeting truck.
All the plumbers, I'm sorry, guys, plumbers.
And gals.
And gals. That engine is the same. The other engine that's the same is the baby EcoBoost.
Okay.
So the 2.7 twin-turbo V6 EcoBoost, 325 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. The torque is at 3,000 RPM. And our friends at 5-Star Tuning recently sent us a truck, a 2.7, and you could boost those numbers even higher.
Yeah, it's very tunable.
Yes.
It's very tunable because well, it's turbocharged.
It's turbocharged. You can put more air and more fuel in there, and
isn't that the truck you like screamed down the drag strip in?
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I was giggling like a little.
Yeah, you were racing, if I remember,
little kid.
A Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. A Shelby.
Yes.
A Shelby Mustang.
That's crazy. Anyway, keep going. So that hasn't changed.
Yeah, and that engine is actually $1,195. Is the little baby EcoBoost.
Okay.
Then I think this could be your favorite engine.
Okay.
Am I right? The Coyote.
The Coyote is my favorite. At least sounds the best by far.
Yeah.
That's a traditional V8 that you'll also find in the Mustang.
So now, when you're right there at your house and you have a Coyote F-150 for 21, and your neighbor comes over and asks you for power, you can say very simply, 400. More than before, 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. That's increased from before, because it was just under 400 before, and now 10-speed and also cylinder deactivation. So all of that in one.
So if you would to compare that to Chevy's 5.3, you're more.
You're way more. That's the base V8 in the Chevy, 355 horsepower there, 400 here.
And what's even a little bit more frightening, I guess, to all you Ram fans, is if you compare that to the Hemi, you're still more.
Yes, 395 in the Hemi.
Yeah.
So now Ford said, okay, Hemi, we're going to be 5 more than you.
And if you think that's not on purpose, then I've got some land I can sell you in a swamp down in Louisiana.
Yes. So $2,000 for the 5-liter V8, as you can see right here on the configurator. You can do that. Now, what do you think about this engine, the 3-liter V6 diesel? This is a turbo diesel.
Yeah, so that engine has been problematic because it's so expensive, Andre. I think for a long time it was the most expensive power plant you could get in the F-150.
It's a $5,000 option, basically, if you're looking at these trucks. Power is the same.
Okay.
They haven't touched it. It came from Land Rover roots, right, in Europe and the UK, and it's still the same, 250 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque.
Still 5,000?
Still about $5,000 to buy that engine. So approximately.
I'm actually surprised that they kept it because, let's face it, Ford doesn't break down numbers, but I'm guessing, in my humbled opinion, it doesn't sell. I mean, it's not knocking down, bowling pins in terms of sales. It's just, an engine that is very expensive, and if you got to have a diesel, then I think a lot of Ford guys and gals will go for the heavy duty.
And I think.
But they have to have it, right? Because Chevy has one.
And Ram has one.
And Ram has one.
So if you say.
had one.
Yeah, if you say, Ford doesn't offer it, that doesn't look good, right?
Yeah.
So that engine is still there. By the way, EPA numbers haven't finalized on any of these engines yet.
All right, now we're getting to the exciting stuff.
Now we're getting to the big boys. Yeah. Okay, are you ready? So the 3.5 twin-turbo EcoBoost is still there, but now the power jumps. 400 horsepower.
Okay.
Just like the Coyote, right? So, but torque, can you guess? Torque. It has to be over 470.
Are we actually in the 500s? Is that possible?
Round 500.
Whoa.
Straight up.
Whoa.
And this engine is available across the board in their lineup.
How much is it? You want to price it out?
So let me look.
Yeah.
Powertrains. That engine is, well, if you're starting...
That engine is all radiators,
if you're starting with the baby EcoBoost, okay?
It's true, right? It's all radiators. There's a lot of intercoolers, a lot of radiators. You're going to get a lot of cooling for that engine.
If you're starting with the baby EcoBoost, it's to step up to the big EcoBoost, it's $1,400.
Yeah,
it's also not too bad.
It's also a very popular engine for Ford dealers. You'll see them a lot on the lots. I think.
Yeah, all over the place.
I think they order them. It's certainly the engine that has made Ford's reputation in terms of turbocharging.
Yeah, dude, and that engine has a lot left in it. Even with the aftermarket, like we're talking about.
All right. Well, how about the new hybrid?
Okay, so power is more than this twin turbo. Do you want to guess?
More than 400 horsepower, 500 pound-foot of torque, and the new
hybrid.
And the new hybrid.
Yes.
So, in the Aviator, I want to say it's close to 600. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go close to that.
You're close. 570 pound-feet of torque.
Wow.
In this hybrid F-150 and 430 horsepower. And maximum towing on the hybrid is 12,700 pounds. So it's not that 14,000 number, but it's less. And the only way you can get to that number is if you have a crew cab truck like this.
Well, those batteries weigh, they're heavy.
Yeah.
So you're losing payload.
So I think what they've done really is they packaged all this truck and they bumped up their gross vehicle weight ratings a little bit to allow for the greater, even payload and even towing numbers. So they did all that. Dude, 570 pound-feet of torque. That's more than the old 5-liter Cummins and the Nissan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess, Mike, under normal times, and I'm not talking about COVID now, I'm talking about the truck wars. I would be very impressed by that, Andre.
Yes.
But Ram dropped the TRX Hellcat-powered Desert Runner truck not that long ago with 702 horsepower.
Yes, and 650 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, so as the King truck goes, Ram right now, at least officially, as has been announced, right? There's a lot of things we can talk about that haven't been announced that we will get to, but officially Ram is now the horsepower and torque king of future trucks. Not out yet, but December they're saying, so it's coming.
And this truck is also within a couple months.
Right.
I mean, this in October or November.
Actually, it might be sooner than the TRX.
It could be. So when it comes out, it'll be the most powerful half-ton truck when it comes out. TRX will, of course, go over it.
Yes.
And whenever an electric truck comes, the electric truck probably will go over that. But, I'm pretty impressed with the hybrid numbers, actually.
Yeah, I mean, super impressive. How much do you have to pay for hybrid?
It's like, from the base, it's like 4,000 and change. So it's not quite as expensive as a diesel, but still very, very expensive engine.
So, I mean, the big question there is, Andre, which we'll talk about in a second, of course, is what's going to happen with the Raptor. But before we get to that, if I were Chevy, I'd be Ram just introduced this ultimately powered Hellcat pickup truck. Ford has now, laid down their hybrid law, let's call it. Mm-hmm. How does Chevy answer that? Because, that 420 horsepower 6.3 is looking a little dated, I gotta say.
Well, they've kept that number for forever, it
seems.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, just look at all their new trucks. They're keeping that number on the Cadillac Escalade, on all their SUVs, all their pickup trucks, Silverado, Sierras. I think they either have to just retune the whole engine. The new Corvette engine is out, right? Yeah. They could use some updates from that engine and make a lot more power, or make it a hybrid.
And Nissan's kind of in the ball game, right? I mean, they've got the most powerful base engine.
Yeah.
But Toyota is still kind of, talk about somebody that's been dated, right? Still pushing away with that.
Big 5.7.
Big 5.7, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great, by the way, with the TRD exhaust, but dude, I mean, it's now looking like it's almost 200 horsepower less than Ford's top dog. That's getting to be a pretty astronomical number, in my mind at least.
Yeah, so we have to test these trucks, right? We haven't tested it, but on paper, it looks quite impressive.
All right, so let's get to the final truck, which is the one that, of course, everybody is curious about, I think, and that's the Raptor, Andre. So, there have been numerous swirling rumors around what the Raptor is going to get, including potentially a more powerful hybrid or potentially the power plant out of the Shelby GT500 Mustang, which is a supercharged V8.
Yes.
So what do we know? What can we say?
Nothing. We know nothing for sure.
Dude, we teased this and you're saying nothing?
Well, dude, it's not on the spec sheet.
Okay.
It's gone. The high output Raptor engine is not here.
Okay.
They haven't announced the Raptor engine.
Right. So the high output was 450 horsepower, right?
450, yeah. And this hybrid is 430.
Yeah.
So it didn't quite reach that Raptor threshold. But we have a lot of rumors, like you said, but no official word.
So let's talk about the rumors, because I don't leave you guys hanging, because that's not fair. So there are two very specific rumors, right? That originally the way it used to be was that Ford would take a year off before they introduced the Raptor version of the next generation F-150. Now, of course, they're saying that it's going to come out the same year as this new F-150, or at least next year. And there are potentially two. This is the rumor mill, so this is not confirmed, but this is what we're kind of hearing on the grapevine. Two potential power plants. First, we're thinking there is going to be a hybrid version.
Right, so they're calling it the hybrid HO, high output.
Yep.
And they also call it power boost.
Yep.
That's their marketing term. It could have, I don't know, close to 500 horse?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. And then, of course, the one that's really got a lot of ears perking up is the fact that there might be a very limited, we've heard this from our sources.
Limited number.
Very limited number of V8 supercharged special edition, and I mean special with a capital S, E, right?
Yes. Yes.
Raptors with that GT 500 power plant out
Supercharged.
supercharged, which would potentially, we're hearing somewhere, I think in the GT 500, 760 horsepower, and Ford's not going to let 702 stand.
So it'll be 703.
It'll be more than that.
The rumor is 725. Actually.
Yeah. So, but that would be, like almost like a custom, almost not the way the Raptor is built right now. So when the Raptor started, we heard from the guys at the plant that 1 out of 10 Raptors were potentially 1 out of 10 F-150s were Raptors. Now we're hearing it's as many as 1 out of 6. This would be a very limited number.
Yeah, like under 500 trucks, maybe 1,000 trucks. We don't know.
We don't know.
But what about the Godzilla engine?
Yeah, what about the Godzilla?
Yeah, other people said the 7.3 will be in the Raptor, maybe supercharged,
none of that.
And now that rumor's gone.
All right, so how about pricing? EPA numbers? All
Pricing
that good stuff.
is right here.
So you can just go and configure it?
you all know this. You've been seeing it. Pricing is available. EPA is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about when will this be something that I could go buy at the local Ford dealership?
They started production last week.
Yes.
So that means, I don't know, like 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's just got to go through the production line. But then, sometimes they sit there in Detroit because
Well,
things
what if
happen.
there's like recalibration? They have to change something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing we need to talk about, which is some news that we had recently, and that is, of course, the news from Ford that they're building their separate, part of their Rouge plant factory for the all-electric F-150. So we know that's coming.
Yeah, they're investing $700 million. It's coming in 2 years.
Yeah.
So about this time, 2 years from now, 2022.
And that is another video for another day.
Yeah.
Well, guys, there you go. Best in class, Andre.
Best in class, once again, from Ford.
And I can't wait to see what the other manufacturers do because they're not going to just roll over and say,
Right.
You guys go at it. We'll stay here.
All right, guys, TFLtruck.com is where you'll find this too.
News, views, and of course, real world reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.
Thanks.